23 ABC News is brought to you in high definition by BMW of Bakersfield. Test drive a new 3 Series today. The only vehicle to win Car and Driver's 10 Best 22 years in a row. The station that covers Kern County. 23 ABC News at 11.
Thanks for choosing 23 ABC News at 11. I'm Jackie Parks.
And I'm Tim Callahan. Good evening. We begin taking a look at robbery and burglary statistics here in Bakersfield.
Police say summer is the high season for this kind of criminal activity because people are often away on vacation. And while we don't have this summer's statistics just yet, we do have stats from earlier in the year. The most recent crime report released by the BPD shows that robberies were up more than 23% year to year, while burglaries were up 16%. While people use different methods to protect their homes, like security systems and leaving their lights on, sometimes that's just not enough. So in an effort to reduce those thefts, new technology will soon be available right here in Kern County to deter criminals from targeting your property. 23 ABC's Amanda Gomez is live outside the Bakersfield Police Department tonight to explain how it works. Amanda?
Jackie, it's described as DNA for your property, similar to microchips for pets. The company behind this new technology is now reaching out to Bakersfield Police and other local law enforcement agencies, hoping they'll sign on to use the crime-fighting tool. They're called cop dots.
Bond. James Bond.
A James Bond-like device on a mission to save homeowners from losing it all. The tiny discs are smaller than a grain of sand. You have to look closely to see them on this white binder. The dots are inside a pen that you use to mark your personal items.
It basically is a liquid adhesive that is dispensed from the pen. Inside this pen there's about 3,000 microdots. Each one of those microdots is laser etched with a number. In every pen, that number is the same number.
That number links to a secure database allowing law enforcement to track and recover stolen items.
It's a real-time live database, so it doesn't matter whether you are a victim of crime here in Bakersfield and your property is recovered in San Diego, San Francisco, or Florida. Law enforcement will be able to find out who that owner is.
You can mark up to 50 items with just one pen, making those items less valuable to thieves. Something that could have helped Craig Davidson, who became a victim of property theft 3 years ago.
I just got home from work and I found my house was ransacked and everything was tipped upside down and everything was off the walls and there really wasn't a whole lot left in the house.
It's an experience Davidson hopes he never has to relive, but says he would consider using cop dots for an extra layer of protection.
When I bring things home now, I'm always questioning how long is this going to be on the wall? How long are these items going to be in my possession before it happens again? And so this is a good way to have a little bit of comfort knowing that if it does happen, then at least I can get my items back.
New technology helping law enforcement track down what matters most to you. Now, law enforcement agencies don't endorse this new technology, but Cop Dots representatives say there are warehouses nationwide full of unclaimed stolen items, so they hope law enforcement agencies take advantage of it. Cop Dots will be available at Lowe's before Thanksgiving. Reporting live downtown Bakersfield, Amanda Gomez, 23 ABC.
Meantime, police are saying street racing is to blame for a late-night crash that killed a 17-year-old girl who was just along for the ride. The crash happened on Harris Road west of Old River Road. Aman Amin was the passenger in a red Mercedes-Benz that was racing with a Lexus. The male driver of the Mercedes lost control, hit a wall, and flipped 150 yards down Harris Road. Amin was killed following the impact. The other driver who was racing has been identified as 23-year-old Miguel Garcia. He was driving a 2006 Lexus RX 300 SUV with the license plate number 5SHK189. Police say they want to talk to Garcia about the crash. And this recent crash has brought up some safety concerns, some saying the speed limits in Southwest Bakersfield are higher than they should be, encouraging drivers to go way too fast. The section of Harris where last night's crash happened has a speed limit of 55 miles per hour, but speeds in the crash were much higher than that. And back in July, a man died while racing on Gosford Road. Police say his car lost control, hit a tree at high speeds, and disintegrated. 2 racing deaths in the Southwest in a little over 3 months has some people concerned.
We had a witness that indicated that prior to the collision, it appeared that these 2 vehicles were involved in a speed contest.
I wasn't really surprised. I know there's a lot of speeding goes on over in this area, so it happens.
In an effort to crack down on street racing, police are giving officers specific training and working to keep racers who are caught from getting their cars back as quickly as they do now.
Well, we have something on the radar called rain, but it's nowhere near us, and it's very light. If anything's hitting the ground, I'd be amazed. Just a few sprinkles near Redding and Chico, the fun part of California at the northern tip. We've got clouds, but look, they're not forming where we are. We've got this big hole here, and we're crystal clear, but we'll see some clouds later on tonight, but no rainfall. Right now, we've got 55 degrees, and it's nice. Winds are dead calm. Dew point, relative humidity pretty low. So the high today was 75. Will we top this tomorrow? We'll talk about the chances of that next in weather. Back to you.
All right, Colin, thanks. The city council members decided to continue talks on the Westchester cul-de-sac project, even though plans have already been approved. Tonight, people living in the Westchester area requested council reconsider its actions. Opponents say adding cul-de-sacs would change the neighborhood's rich history. Others say the project raises several safety issues. Meanwhile, about 34 property owners who support the project are ready to move forward, calling it an important thing for the city. Leaders approved to build cul-de-sacs last November. People living on Spruce and Pine Streets have already agreed to the construction. The cul-de-sac project is estimated to cost more than $18,000. Council members will revisit the plan during their January meeting. And starting next week, you may have to adjust your commute. On Wednesday, Caltrans is closing the Panama Lane off-ramp from southbound Highway 99. The ramp will be closed until at least November 20th so that crews can finish work on the auxiliary lane and widening project.
And still ahead, Veterans Day now just a few days away. And what better time to offer a message of thanks? A group of students made our vets feel appreciated.
And governing for a day. High schoolers find out what it really means to be a government employee as they head off to work. For the past 3 years, one California woman held the record as the oldest woman to finish the New York Marathon. This weekend, she crossed the finish line and died just hours later. Joy Johnson ran her first New York Marathon at the age of 61 and kept running for the next 25 years. At 86, she seemed unstoppable, but last Sunday, Joy stumbled in the New York Marathon and hit her head near the 20th mile. Joy finished the race, but the next day she said she was tired. She took a nap and never woke up. The cause is still unknown. Neighbors say about the only thing that surpassed her physical and mental abilities was her kindness.
Every morning she also would pick up the papers for everybody that are on the driveways and bring them to our front door.
Well, she was so good to everybody, so thoughtful, very, very thoughtful.
The running world praised her for going the distance, but Joy Johnson's neighbors say she took her compassion toward others a whole lot farther.
Still to come, veterans honored before their official day, why the kids at a Southwest Bakersfield school pulled out all the stops to say thanks.
And then later tonight on Jimmy Kimmel.
Thanks. Tonight we have music from Florida Georgia line. Erin Andrews is here. And look, Dr. Phil's hair grew back. It's an early Christmas miracle. You look great.
Leaders from one Bakersfield school want students to learn more than just English and math.
Teachers at Quailwood Elementary School are adding patriotism to their lesson plans. 23 ABC's Carlos Correa is in studio now with a tribute to all servicemen and women. Carlos.
Tim and Jackie, students are celebrating veterans and all current servicemen and women in Kern County who continue fighting for our freedom and helping keep our country safe. Quailwood Elementary School student Ethan Berger knows a few servicemen and women.
They're very brave. They're just made so much sacrifices, and I thank them for that.
Some of the veterans happen to be in his own family, and when his school principal invited Ethan to help honor them and other military personnel, he jumped at the chance.
We should never forget what veterans have did so much for this great land. We call it the United States of America.
Quailwood School organized a special ceremony paying tribute to our nation's veterans who gave the ultimate sacrifice.
I don't feel like no hero, but I just did my part when I was called to do it. And if I was younger and I would recall again, I would do it again.
Luis Seta Jr. served in the United States Navy from 1972 to 1978 and wants students to appreciate their freedom.
It's important for especially the kids to remember what Veterans Day is about, and it also shows some patriotism and why we have freedom.
The celebration not only included a musical tribute, but a time for students to meet and talk with veterans who had many history lessons to share with everyone.
We have reading and writing and math, all those things that we need to make sure that we're doing for our kids. But the patriotic part is very important too. We want them to understand that the freedom isn't free, that we all need to treat it as a precious jewel.
Now, the event at the elementary school is also a way to help students prepare to observe Veterans Day, which takes place on Monday, November 11th. I'm Carlos Correa, 23 ABC.
Carlos, thank you. Meanwhile, an Amber Alert issued for an infant was canceled today after the abductor, the child's father, was caught. Police in Sunnyvale near San Jose say Musette Guller abducted his 2-week-old baby yesterday and disappeared. An Amber Alert swept the state Tuesday night and into today. But authorities say earlier this evening the baby was recovered and his father was arrested by Mexican authorities. Investigators say Border Patrol agents discovered there was a $1 million warrant out for his arrest. Colin Jackson now here with your Turncast 23.
Well, we have action on the West Coast and action on the East Coast, all in the form of rain. It's November. We've got a long way to go till winter really grabs hold and turns this whole area to snow. There was some snow, though, about 6 inches overnight in South Dakota and North Dakota, too. That's all pushed off into eastern Canada. Temperatures, though, are chilly. Look at this, 37 in Oklahoma City. They're not used to that. Denver's been cold for quite a while. They're at 26 now, and most of the area to the north is frigid. Frigid, well, relatively speaking, 22. That's cold. Rain chances are all off to the north, and that's where they stay, and that's where they will stay all the way through the weekend. We've got clouds trying to creep in over the coastal range, but for now, the donut, or the hole in the donut of cloud cover is where we are. So we'll see if we get anything coming our way at all. There's a lot of moisture out here, a lot of cloud cover, but any of the rain chances just stays off to our north. Unfortunately, we need the rain, but it's not coming yet. Our current temperature is 55. That's nice. Winds are calm. We're a little warmer than last night at this time. And it's 50 down in Porterville, or up in Porterville, 59 in Taft, 50 in Tehachapi, and 53 at Lake Isabella. The numbers are nice and a little warmer than yesterday. We're up anywhere from 1 to 5 degrees, and the LA area is up 9. That's at LAX. 75 was the high today, above average. Now the new normal, 69. 41 was the low this morning. So these numbers were nice today. 73 in Porterville, 71 in Taft. It was 63 in Tehachapi, and a very nice 74 up at Lake Isabella. And other numbers were nice too. Fresno got to 76. The real warm spots were down south. 84 in Camarillo. Burbank was nice too. Paso Robles got to 80. San Luis Obispo was 80 as well. So the pattern in the Pacific is active. There's a lot of storms out here, and we're waiting for something to swing them our way. The long-range models point to a half-decent winter, but for now, we're not getting anything going at all. And the rainfall chances that we've talked about for next Monday and Tuesday are pretty weak. Fresno north at 20% at best. Here are the new overnight lows. We've got a new graphic for you, so watch them fly by as we go. 48 in Taft, 40 in Arvin, and then we get up to the mountains, 45 for Lake Isabella, 35 to Tehachapi, 43 Mojave, and the overnight low at Edwards down to 33, 32 in Lancaster, California City, into the upper 30s. Transitioning to highs tomorrow that look nice, 72 in Lancaster, 70 in Mojave. And when we slide through Tehachapi, 65, 73 at Lake Isabella. And on the valley floor, our numbers look great. Look at that, mid to upper 70s in 3D. Isn't that cool? Wow. Now you know what we do in the weather department. We tinker with the toys. Moderate air quality, wood burning is allowed. Of course, don't start fires tonight, it's too late. Upper 70s all the way through the weekend with a mix of cloud and sun.
Is
Veterans
there a time
Day.
limit on those?
Makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, 70s.
Takes at least a half hour to get it started.
Exactly. Upper 60s for Tuesday and Wednesday. Now, when we get to the Kern River Valley numbers, they look good too. Temperatures here, low to mid 70s. Veterans Day, kids are off school, upper 60s, and mid 60s by the time we get to Wednesday. For the mountains, temperatures also look awfully nice, and then cooler, much cooler into next week. But still, the rainfall chances are just not coming to be, and we need them to be happening, and they're not.
Yes, we do need them.
To be.
Putting a damper on our fire.
That's right.
When the rain comes.
Right.
Okay.
That'll be in December.
Got it.
That was a bad joke. Well, a new study released this week shows that although more Latinos are applying to college, the amount actually graduating is low. The study released by the Campaign for College Opportunities showed that in 2012, while 68% of Latino students had enrolled in college, only about 11% actually graduated. The study points to a lack of financial resources and preparation in key areas. But officials with Bakersfield College say although students aren't as prepared as they should be, the number of students graduating is about the same amount as applies.
I think we're actually the antithesis of what that study is suggesting, because our students are succeeding, and they're succeeding at the same rate that they're attending our college.
The study also found if more Latinos were to finish school, the state could bring in $4.80 per graduate.
Well, students from high schools all over Kern County had a rare chance to see how the city of Bakersfield operates on a daily basis. Teens participating in the annual Teen Government Day were invited to attend tonight's city council meeting. The high school students introduced themselves to the community before a very busy agenda. Earlier in the day, students toured City Hall and the Bakersfield Police Department. Students also met with city employees and watched several demonstrations as they learned firsthand the responsibilities of helping Bakersfield operate.
We take so many things for granted, like the highways and our schools and the various sports fields, and then seeing how much work actually goes into getting these things approved and actually made was really eye-opening.
You know, the stereotype for Bakersfield is just dirt, but when you really get down to it, especially in City Hall, you see that it's a lot more than that.
This was the 59th year the city, Kern High School District, and other community service groups hosted this event. The fallout over healthcare.gov continues. At a Senate Finance Committee hearing today, lawmakers criticized the White House for not being honest about the healthcare law.
There is a long track record of broken promises and untruthful answers to both this committee and the American people.
President Obama was in Dallas today touting the Navigator program, which hires people to help navigate customers through the Affordable Care Act. At the same time, Health Secretary Kathleen Sebelius was on the hot seat answering questions about the security of the program.
Isn't it true that there is no federal requirement for navigators to undergo a criminal background check, even though they will receive sensitive personal information from the individuals they help sign up for the Affordable Care Act?
That is true. States could add an additional background checks and other features, but it is not part of the federal requirement.
So a convicted felon could be a navigator and could acquire sensitive personal information from an individual unbeknownst to them.
That is possible.
Sebelius says the organizations in charge of the Navigator program have taken the responsibility to screen the employees.
Still ahead, Black Thursday? Why more and more retailers will be throwing open their doors even before you're done enjoying that Thanksgiving dinner. Story next.
Plans to create a massive housing project at the foot of the Grapevine are now underway. Tejon Ranch Company plans to build 12,000 homes, condos, and apartment units in a now isolated area about 9 miles from Lebec. Barry Zoller of Tejon Ranch says the Grapevine project is related to the development company's 8,000-acre outlet mall. Zoller says this plan has been in development for years now, and the goal is to provide housing to thousands of employees who will be moving into the area when the outlets open. An environmental review is expected to take place within the coming months. And while the proposed housing plan is years for being built, the Tejon Ranch outlets will open next August. And if you can't wait for the deals until then, the biggest shopping day of the year might help, right, Tim?
That's right, Jackie. The day after Thanksgiving is usually the time for shoppers to splurge, and now a growing number of stores say they want that. They'll be open on Thanksgiving. They say it's what shoppers want. JCPenney, Sears, Kohl's, and others will be opened on Thanksgiving night, and this year Macy's, they say they'll join in as well, opening at 8 p.m. on Thanksgiving Day. But Toys R Us isn't even waiting for you to digest dinner. They'll be opening their doors at 5 p.m. The store that takes the so-called pumpkin pie, Kmart, they'll be open for, get this, 41 hours straight, starting at 6 a.m. Thanksgiving morning and going until 11 p.m. on Black Friday. And as we head further into the fall season, health experts want to remind you about the foods you can enjoy and be cooking to get the most vitamins and minerals. Pumpkins among the fruits and vegetables now in season. The Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics suggests you add those to your shopping list. They are high in fiber and also high in vitamin A, which can boost your immunity in time for the flu season. They also suggest using pumpkin puree in muffins or bread, and spaghetti squash is also a tasty food to try and, of course, cook with because it's very healthy. Well, from shopping to recreational shooting, the fall season also signals the return of hunting for outdoor enthusiasts. The fall turkey and dove hunting seasons are now set to open this coming Saturday. The California Department of Fish and Wildlife says the season will continue through December 8th, and hunters are limited to 1 turkey or either 6 per day, and only 2 for the season. The dove season as well, they say they're restricting those to 10 per day, but there is no limit on spotted doves.
Well, it was a big night for country music fans. The big winners from tonight's CMA Awards coming up next.
Lady Gaga is taking her career to new heights and sorts. U.S. Magazine reports Gaga will blast off in a Virgin Galactic ship and sing a song in outer space. It will happen in 2015 during the Zero-G Colony Festival in New Mexico. The superstar musician will have to train for the event to make sure her vocal cords can handle the changes in the atmosphere.
Well, finally, here at 11, a look back at the big winners at tonight's Country Music Association Awards. Music Video of the Year went to Tim McGraw, Taylor Swift, and Keith Urban for Highway Don't Care, while Single of the Year went to Cruise by Florida Georgia Line. Best New Artist went to Casey Musgraves, and Best Vocal Group went to Little Big Town. Miranda Lambert clinched Female Vocalist of the Year, while her husband Blake Shelton took home Best Male Vocals. And it was a big night for Shelton, who also took home Best Album of the Year for his album based on a true story. And Entertainer of the Year went to country music superstar George Strait. He must have a whole shelf full of those things by now.
Yeah.
A mantle full.
Stop a lot of doors.
I was surprised Taylor Swift didn't take home a lot of awards this year. She's usually always taking home.
Yeah, she has armloads, but she maybe next year.
And Kenny Rogers was honored for his lifetime achievement.
Yeah. Islands in the Stream.
That's
I wanted
right.
to see Dolly Parton sing that with him. I mean,
yeah, that would have been cool.
It was great the way it was, but that's fine.
Little surgery going on there. Let's take a look at the 7-day forecast.
Out for surgery.
Yeah. Upper 70s, can you handle that with a mix of cloud and sun? And then next week we'll cool things off into the upper 60s. We keep talking about rainfall chances from Fresno north, and that's a long way off, and at best it's 20% there, so don't look for it here. Veterans Day looks good. The kids have the day off. Don't forget about that. Don't drive them to school by accident. And on the mountains it looks nice too, cooling off.
It might be intentional.
Yeah.
No, really, just run along. They'll let you in. That's going to do it. Jimmy Kimmel's coming up next.
I just don't want to have to get up and do it, like go through the motions.